Now, once the heart contracts and sends the blood outside of the heart to the body, the blood has to be carried through something. Our body isn't an open circulatory system where blood just sloshes around and touches all the cells inside of our body. We have a network of tubing called blood vessels, and there's 3 types of blood vessels that we're going to learn about in this vodcast. First of all, we have the artery here on the left. Now, the artery is the thickest vessel out of the 3 because it has to withstand a lot of the pressure. And the reason why it has to withstand a lot of pressure because this is the vessel that carries blood away from the heart. So as the heart squeezes and forces the blood out, it's coming at an extremely high pressure, so the thick walls of the artery don't rupture and burst and keep the blood inside the tubes. Now, the second vessel we have here are called the veins. The veins are the second thickest, but they're not as thick as the arteries because they don't carry blood away from the heart. Veins carry blood back to the heart, so they're not dealing with as much pressure as the arteries are. Now, inside the veins, we have these structures called valves, and the valves serve a very important function for us. Now, as you can see, here we have 2 skeletal muscles on each side of the vein, and then these U-shaped things, or these curled things in the middle of the vessels, these are your valves. These valves inside of your veins prevent blood from backflowing down to the bottom of your body. So if you've ever been sitting around, sometimes you might have wondered why the blood doesn't pool at your feet. It's because these valves prevent that from happening. Okay, so here we have the veins, and we have 2 skeletal muscles next to the veins. And the skeletal muscles act as another pump. The skeletal muscles will actually force the blood through the veins back towards the heart. So here we have the contraction of the muscles forcing the blood through the valves. Now, as the muscles relax, they're going to stop squeezing the vein, and when they stop squeezing the vein, there won't be any force to force the blood up anymore, so the blood's going to want to backflow. And as a result, as this blood backflows, it closes the valves, and then the valves keep the blood from going back down. So as you continue to move and walk, contracting your skeletal muscles, they're going to squeeze, force the blood up, and as your muscles relax, the blood drifts back down, shutting the valves and staying there. Okay, so those are the veins. And then lastly, we have our third vessel, and these vessels are called the capillaries. Now, the capillaries are the thinnest vessels, and they are so thin that, as you can see, they don't have these multi-layers to them as the vein and the arteries do. Capillaries are only 1 cell thick. So that means each wall is only made up of 1 cell. Obviously, a bunch of cells connected together to make this tube, which is only 1 cell thick. Now, capillaries do connect the veins and the arteries together. So as blood flows through the arteries, they'll eventually get to the capillaries, and as the blood travels through the capillaries, they'll then come back out through the veins and on the way back to the heart. Now, the capillaries are important because they are 1 cell thick, which allows them to diffuse oxygen and nutrients into the cell and take carbon dioxide and other waste out of the cell and back into the blood. So let's take a look at what capillary blood flow looks like in a goldfish tail. As you take a look at this video here, you can see the capillaries in this goldfish tail, and the little round things moving through the goldfish tail are the blood cells. So this gives you an idea of how tiny capillaries are, because if you take a close look at this, you'll notice that the cells are essentially going 1 cell at a time. They're moving single file through the capillary. So as they travel through, they're dropping off oxygen and picking up carbon dioxide and other wastes.